Bocas del Toro Boat Excursion. Hi, I'm Lori, a senior solo traveler, and I recently visited Bocas del Toro. I arrived by way of a Windstar cruise and had one day to explore the island. Often when I'm traveling by cruise, I just get off the ship and explore on my own. However, my research told me that it wasn't that easy to get around Isla Colón, which is the main island of the archipelago. So I joined a powerboat excursion that was supposed to go to Bird Island and Starfish Beach. The day started at 8 a.m. and Windstar provided tenders that took us to a small dock on Isla Colón. It was a rustic-looking port town with some random shops and a fun-looking hotel and bar that projected into the water. We were immediately led to a powerboat that held maybe a dozen people. I had signed up for this excursion because I saw pictures of Bird Island that looked quite dramatic. Unfortunately, Windstar changed the birding destination a few days prior. They said it was because of water conditions. However, our guide commented on how unusually smooth the waters were that day. So that was a little disappointing. However, I was excited to take the boat trip and see what we could of the wildlife. We took off immediately for a channel that was supposed to be a haven for birds. I'm not exactly sure where it was, but it was on the north side of the island. On our way there, we passed a floating bar. Yes, a bar that floats on the water. It wasn't in operation that early in the morning, but I'm sure it's a fun novelty to have a drink while floating around. We traveled parallel to the eastern coastline with lovely views along the way. Eventually, we steered into a small channel with dense foliage and mangrove trees sprouting from the water's edge. It was a tranquil and serene area, punctuated by the sounds of birds. Our guide was quite the expert and could differentiate the bird sounds. When he heard a bird call, he would have us listen and then tell us more about that particular bird. I found his information more interesting than what we saw, which frankly wasn't much. We heard many more birds than we saw. We did spot an iguana way up in the trees. Can you see it? Yeah, neither could I. Nevertheless, it was a pretty little channel and I enjoyed the diversion. After exploring the channel, we then motored to Starfish Beach. It is a beautiful beach that is known for its abundance of starfish in the shallow waters. I had brought my snorkel gear, so headed into the water with my underwater camera. It is quite a beautiful sight to see all these starfish, which were much larger than I expected. They warned us not to get too close to the starfish and definitely not to touch them. Evidently, these warnings are not heeded by all tourists. We were told that the starfish had almost completely disappeared, but that COVID actually brought them back when the tourists stopped coming. It made me wonder if they will disappear again. The beach itself is quite pretty, and because it is a popular tourist spot, there are some eating establishments and vendors along the shore. I took a gorgeous walk down the beach, enjoying the crystal clear turquoise blue water. Just lovely. We headed back after about 4 hours. On the way back, we pulled up to some posts sticking up out of the water. Evidently, someone started to build something there without permission, but was stopped. These abandoned posts have created some nice perches for the seabirds, so we finally got to see some birds up close. We also passed by some over-the-water cabanas. This would be a beautiful place to stay on the island. So we started the day on one side of the island, motored to the other side, and then back to where we started. I didn't have time to explore the little port town, but talked to some fellow passengers that did. They said there wasn't much there except some souvenir shops and bars, so I felt like I made a good choice in booking a boating excursion. There are water taxis and a bus that will take you from one side of the island to the other. The bus is only a few dollars, so that is the most affordable mode of transportation. I got the impression that this is more of a backpacker's retreat. There are no fancy hotels or major developments, which adds to its rustic charm. I hope they keep it that way. As always, if you have questions, feel free to ask in the comments section. And if you've been to Bocas del Toro and can add to the conversation, we'd love to hear from you. Please check out the Senior Solo Travel website and Facebook forum where you can interact with other travelers. And if you'd like to follow my senior and solo travel journeys, please like and subscribe. Cheers!